In this episode, we fix the broken 55 Chevy and find out, most importantly, will it do a burnout? No, it will not. Let's get to the video. Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we probably have one of my favorite cars to work on. We're going to be rescuing the poor 55 Chevy. It's been sitting here outside for a while, and you can see that she's starting to puke a little bit. But we've got a new radiator for it because this one is leaking everywhere, and it's just, the car was overheating and it just wasn't any good. So hopefully she'll fire right up. We're going to drain the coolant out of her, and we got a nice fresh new radiator. We'll fix a couple other things while we're at it. So let's hope she fires up here. If you guys don't know anything about this car, me and my dad bought it about 4 or 5 months ago. And I honestly believe it was the cheapest running and driving 55 Chevy in the USA. Now, it's definitely not perfect. It's definitely got some rust. But it ran and drove, and I've been driving it around a little bit until the radiator went bad. So today's mission is we got to get her back on the road. So let's hope she'll fire up. And we'll pull her inside and get to work. All right, come on, baby. Come on. Ah, no problem. All right, let's pull her around so we can start working. So step one is going to be to drain all the water out of it before we pull it inside. Now, it had coolant at one point, but it has long since drained all that out. So don't call the EPA because I drained a little bit of hose water out on the ground, because that's all that's in there. Okay, now we can pull it inside and get to work here. Okay, so sticking with the theme of cheap, we got just a cheap regular new temperature gauge because I don't really trust the one that's in there. And then I think I found the cheapest 4-core radiator with an electric fan. It was just off Amazon. I think it was like right around 300 bucks. So cheap 55 Chevy, getting cheap parts. But I actually used one of these in my C10 and it seems to work really well. And it was just a little 3-core, so hopefully the 4-core is even better. Wow, I'm actually pretty impressed. It looks pretty nice, and it comes with kind of just the basic wiring you're gonna need to hook it up. Comes with a relay and a plug and an inline fuse and just the basic stuff. But I'm actually pretty impressed with this thing. It looks pretty good. So obviously you guys can see the one major problem though is that you don't want this big ugly aluminum thing under your hood. So we're gonna have to take this puppy apart and paint it black, and then we'll check back in when we're all done with that. Okay, so we got the radiator all apart so we can paint it black. There's the shroud, radiator, and the fan. So we're just gonna spray some black, probably just some basic Rust-Oleum paint on it, and it'll look like $1,000,000. So let's get to that. Oh yeah, now that's looking good. So we're just gonna wait for these things to dry. In the meantime, we'll pull out the old radiator, and then when those are dry, we'll flip them over, paint the other side, and we will be good to go. Wow, that looks really good. So we're going to toss this thing back in the car. One thing I do want to do is ditch all of this metric hardware that they give us, which is just unacceptable. But we're going to put the fan and the shroud back on, and we're going to throw this puppy back in the car. All right, so as you'll see, there's no electric fan. You can see how tight everything was. We just could not fit the radiator with the electric fan. But radiator's in, it's full of water, and it's been sitting here idling for the last, I don't know, 15 minutes. And that gauge has not moved past 130 very much. So I think we may have fixed it, but we're gonna let it idle a little longer, and then we'll take it for a drive and we'll see if we really fixed it. Okay, so we're gonna take it for a test drive. So before, this thing was probably good for about maybe 20 to 30 minutes before it would overheat. It's already been running a little bit, so we're at 140 now. So we'll take her for a little cruise here and see if she overheats or not. Okay, so we're just getting onto the highway here. Now you didn't even have to be sitting in traffic. You could just be cruising down the highway and this thing would overheat. So far we're at about maybe 140. So we're doing good so far, but let's drive her around a little more. This thing is a nice driving car. The only thing that would be better is if I had a nice little manual shifter here to bang some gears in, but that'll be all right. That'll be on the next video. We'll be installing a 4-speed into this puppy. Sit here at the light. Not warming up much at all, really. Oh! Well, that's awkward. I just stalled it. Oh boy. Okay, well, that was weird. It's an automatic. I'm not exactly sure how I just stalled it, but I did. Okay, we'll try this again. Huh. Don't know what happened there, but still staying cool. That's what's important. I don't know how I just stalled an automatic, but somehow I did. Seems pretty good. Let's see, we're at about, I'll show you guys what our temperature looks like. We've probably been cruising for about 10 to 15 minutes. And there's our temperature. I don't know, 140 maybe? Not very warm, that's for sure. So I think we're doing pretty good. Well, we just got back. Temp's right at about 180. I'm calling that a win. I'm very happy. So I think we fixed the overheating problem. Now we can drive her around and she's doing pretty good. So hopefully on the next one, we'll be installing a 4-speed. We'll be doing some bang shifting with the old girl. But until then, I hope you enjoyed the video and we'll catch you on the next one.